Title: My parents told me Grandma was in the hospital, so I'd skip the family cruise. She needs you, they insisted. At the dock, my sister posted photos with them all on board. Best vacation ever. When they came back. The lie that left me behind it started with a phone call at 6:17 a.m. My mom's voice was already halfway into panic mode when I picked up. "Claire, it's Grandma. We just got off the phone with the nursing home. She's not doing well." My stomach dropped. "What happened?" "They think it's pneumonia. They might move her to the hospital today. We don't know for sure yet. She needs someone there." I was supposed to be at the port in 7 hours, boarding a week-long cruise to the Caribbean. It was a family tradition, our first since COVID. My suitcase was packed, my leave from work already approved. I hesitated. "You're still going?" "Honey, we can't all miss it. Your father's already paid for the suite, and your sister's been looking forward to this for months. But someone has to stay with Grandma." That should have been the first red flag, but I said okay, because I'd always been the one who understood, the reliable daughter, the mature one, the fixer. By 9 a.m., I'd unpacked and driven 2 hours to the care center. Grandma was sitting in her favorite chair, watching The Price is Right, drinking tea. No hospital wristband, no oxygen, no pneumonia. "Feeling okay, Grandma?" "Never better," she smiled. I didn't ask the nurse anything right away. I sat, waited, watched, then gently asked if there had been a hospital transfer or scare. "No," she said, checking her clipboard. "She's stable. No reports this week. Why?" I told myself maybe things changed. Maybe she improved overnight. Maybe they panicked and overreacted. Maybe... But the pit in my stomach was growing. The next day, it exploded. I opened Instagram. My sister had posted a photo of herself in a sundress on the ship's top deck, drink in hand, captioned, "Best vacation ever. Family time, your cruise vibes, sheer sunset seas." Behind her, Mom and Dad, all smiles, holding plates from the buffet. I stared at it, numb. No one had told me Grandma was fine. No one checked in. They just left me, used guilt like a knife, and carved me out of the one thing we'd all planned together. "She needs you," they said. But what they really meant was, "We don't want you." That night, I blocked them all, and I opened a blank document on my laptop. At the top, I wrote, "When they come back," because I wouldn't yell, wouldn't post, wouldn't beg, but I would remember, and I would make sure that they never forgot what they did. When they came back, they got home a week later, tanned and loud. The cruise photos had slowed down after the first few days, but I'd seen enough. Sunsets, cocktails, beach lounges, dance nights, even a family dinner post with the caption, "All together again. So grateful." I didn't comment, didn't text, didn't call. At first, I think they thought I was busy. On Sunday, my sister texted, "Hey, you okay? Haven't heard from you." I didn't answer. Monday morning, Mom left a voicemail. "Claire, your grandma said you never even stayed the night. That wasn't fair, and you could have at least picked us up from the airport." Picked them up? I laughed. On Tuesday, I went back to work, head down, focus sharp. No one at the clinic knew what had happened. No one asked why I was quieter. I liked it that way. But at night, I worked. I compiled every old family document I had access to. Birth certificates, joint accounts, shared assets, insurance papers, estate documents. Not to destroy anything. Not yet. I just needed to see how deep their assumption of my loyalty ran, and how easily I could withdraw it. Friday night. They called again. Together this time. I didn't answer, but I listened. "Claire, this is your mother. We don't know what's gotten into you, but this is getting ridiculous. You're being childish. We made a hard choice. You always said you wanted to spend more time with Grandma. You're the one who made it weird. There it was, the gaslight flickering. They had thrown me out, and now they were offended I stayed out. I went to the cabinet and pulled out the key to Grandma's house, the one they didn't know I still had. I hadn't told them she'd asked me, quietly, years ago, to help her update her will, because she said, "They're gonna throw each other overboard someday, but not you. You're the only one who visits when there's no holiday or camera." And I knew then, my revenge wouldn't be loud. It would be written in signatures, notarized, and read aloud when they least expected it. The revision. Grandma didn't ask questions when I showed up at her doorstep that Saturday morning. She just smiled like she'd been expecting me all along. "They told you I was in the hospital, didn't they?" she said as she poured tea. "Yeah," I replied. "They said you were sick, that you needed me." "Sweetheart," she sighed. "I haven't had so much as a cough since February." We sat in her kitchen while she scrolled through the cruise photos I'd printed. Real paper, real ink, no filters. She studied each one like it was evidence. In a way, it was. "They said they needed to relax," she said flatly. "Said you wouldn't mind, that you'd want to stay with me anyway." I didn't say anything. I just placed a folder on the table. Inside, her existing will. Financial account summaries, property deeds, power of attorney documents, all the versions with their names. And then I added the new drafts, prepared by Lydia, the same estate lawyer I used once before. "You don't have to decide today," I said softly. "But if you want your things to go where they're respected, this is how we do it." Grandma looked at the papers for a long time. "Your mother once told me she'd take care of me if I ever needed it." She glanced toward the hallway, where her hearing aids were charging. "Funny, I haven't seen her in 3 months." She picked up the pen. "Let's get to work." By the end of the afternoon, my name was listed as the primary heir. My sister's name was removed entirely. The house, left to me, the safety deposit box, transferred to my sole access, power of attorney, updated and filed, and best of all, Grandma insisted on writing a letter of intent, explaining exactly why she changed it. Not because I asked, but because she wanted it known. I left with signed documents in one hand and a quiet smile in the other. They went on a vacation without consequences. Now, they were going to come home to reality. Off the guest list. Thanksgiving came, then Christmas, then my birthday. No calls, no texts. At first, I thought they'd doubled down, but then I realized they were waiting for me to come crawling back. I didn't. My sister finally broke the silence in February. "So, are you just done with all of us now?" I didn't answer. Because I wasn't done. I was finished. There's a difference. Grandma started calling me her shadow angel. I visited twice a week, made sure her fridge was full, helped her set up online grocery delivery, even replaced the lock on her front door. She never asked why. She just gave me a knowing smile when the new keys came in. Then one day, she called me, voice trembling. They came by. What did they want? They wanted to talk about the will. I was quiet. I didn't say a word, she added. Just offered them tea. They didn't stay. Good. They're starting to wonder, Claire. Let them. Within a month, my father emailed me from a new address. Hey, just checking in. Heard you've been spending time with Grandma. Glad someone is. We should talk soon. I didn't respond. 2 weeks later, my mother left a comment under one of my posts. Just a heart emoji. I deleted it, then blocked her again. Because I don't want crumbs. I wanted respect. And they'd already served me lies. The trust cleared in April. Everything was now official. House title assets, bank transfers, power of attorney burial instructions. And that letter of intent Grandma wrote. Lydia read it aloud in the notary's office and said she hadn't seen anything so well articulated in years. This isn't revenge, Grandma said after. No, I agreed. It's correction. The confrontation. My sister showed up at Grandma's door on a Wednesday, unannounced. She had that tone in her voice, tight, brittle, halfway between fury and panic. "So what, Claire? You're just going to take everything." I stayed seated, calmly folding laundry on the couch. "I didn't take anything. Grandma made her choice." She laughed bitterly. "Of course she did. After you whispered in her ear for months while we were gone." "You mean while I was lied to and left behind?" That shut her up. For a moment. "We thought you'd want to stay with her," she said, voice rising. "We figured you'd prefer it to being stuck on a ship with all of us." I set the folded towel down. "You figured wrong." Grandma came out of the kitchen, surprisingly calm. "Is everything okay?" My sister stiffened. "Did you really cut us out of everything?" "You cut yourself out," Grandma replied. "You lied to Claire to take a vacation. What did you think would happen?" "It was one trip. It was a choice," Grandma said, firmer now. "And choices have consequences." My sister's face fell. "So that's it? Claire gets the house, the savings. Claire gets peace," Grandma said. "You'll have to find your own." That was the end of the conversation. No shouting, no tears, just a quiet realization that the person they'd once treated like a backup plan now had all the power. My sister left without another word. She didn't slam the door, didn't look back. She just left. And for once, she was the one standing outside. The reading Grandma passed quietly one October morning, in her sleep, with my hand in hers. There were no hospital monitors, no chaos, just the rustle of the trees outside, and the last words she whispered to me. You never owed them forgiveness. Only yourself, peace. The funeral was small, intimate, respectful. I didn't invite my parents or my sister. I didn't tell them anything at all, because grief is sacred, and they didn't earn the right to stand in it with me. They found out 3 days later. I know because my mom called 13 times in a row. She left one message. You could have at least told us she was gone. I didn't respond. The will was read the following week. Just Lydia, myself, and a quiet room with more space than sound. The house, the accounts, the deposits, all mine. But what mattered most was the letter Grandma left behind. It wasn't part of the official documents. It was handwritten, folded into the final page. Claire, they will say this is about money. It's not. It's about trust. You never asked for anything except honesty. And when they couldn't give it, you gave them silence. That silence became strength. You chose kindness, even when they chose convenience. You were there when it counted. You always are. Let this be the last thing they don't see coming, and the first thing they learn from. I love you. Always. Months passed. My name changed on every deed, title, and account. The family stopped calling, not because they forgave me, but because they finally understood. I didn't shut them out. They walked out a long time ago. I just chose not to hold the door open anymore. These days, I drink tea in Grandma's chair. Sometimes with my own friends. Sometimes with strangers who become family. I still visit her grave once a month. Not out of grief, but gratitude. Because the woman they used as an excuse for betrayal gave me the strength to walk away from it forever. You are not alone, and you are so much stronger than you think. Tap that subscribe button to join Twisted Justice, where we share tales that heal, inspire, and remind you that even the deepest heartbreak can lead to the most beautiful new beginning. Share this with someone who needs a reminder that revenge isn't always about getting even. Sometimes, it's just about getting better.